Well, guys, we need to talk about Brandon Johnson, the mayor of Chicago. Now, this is not Monday. The Chicago videos usually come out on Monday because the crime is just out of control. I mean, like 30 people were shot over the Thanksgiving weekend. Chicago has actually gotten worse under Brandon Johnson than under Lori Lightfoot. The people in Chicago, man, I just don't get it, man. Why do you guys keep voting for radical Democrats? You hated Lori Lightfoot. You got rid of her. But you put in Brandon Johnson? Really? I mean, Chicago is run by nothing but Democrats. It is a super duper blue city. Super blue. You know, there's supposed to be a sanctuary city also as well. I mean, that's what the people wanted. That's what they're getting right now. The right runs nothing in Chicago. Brandon Johnson wants illegal aliens to come into Chicago. He's getting them. He's getting them right now. But things are so bad in Chicago, man, that black people are threatening to vote Republican because their city, man, is just going down in flames. You know, it's unfortunate, you know, that it actually takes something like this for people to wake up. And that's a real possibility. I do believe that Donald Trump come 2024 is going to get a significant boost in black people voting for him. Now, the percentage, I'm not really sure, but I do believe that 20% is a real possibility. I really do. But back to Brandon Johnson. Brandon Johnson now is actually blaming right-wing extremism for the problems in Chicago. Like I said before, guys, the right doesn't run anything in Chicago. Boy, you can't elect a Republican in Chicago at all. You just can't do it. Chicago is super duper blue. They just don't vote Democrat. They vote for progressive Democrats. That is probably the worst type of Democrat you can actually vote for. You know, just like a London Breed over there in San Francisco. It is that bad. Crime is out of control. Brandon Johnson isn't doing anything about crime. And if you actually do criticize the criminals in Chicago, Brandon Johnson wants to go after you. He has no interest in actually protecting the innocent citizens of his city. I mean, it is a bloodbath every single weekend over there in Chicago. But I want you guys to check this out. I saw this yesterday, man, because Chicago is actually getting what they voted for. They're getting illegals. But Brandon Johnson goes on a tirade here. A complete meltdown. Blaming the right. And also, he has his facts completely wrong on some things. I'll touch on that. I mean, this is not a very smart man. But they voted for him. But before we actually get into this video, check this out. This is Brandon Johnson's approval rating right here. As soon as I get this ad out the way. Look here. Right here. Brandon Johnson. New polling shows Chicago Mayor Brandon Johnson has a 28% approval rating. As low as one mayor after a national scandal and another who was about to get booted by voters. 28%. It is that bad for Brandon Johnson. The people in Chicago just don't approve of this guy. Hey, but you voted for him. Let's go ahead and react to this clip right here. Because Brandon Johnson, man, has a meltdown. Listen in.
You know, what we've seen is a very raggedy form instituted by right-wing extremism. Everyone knows that the right-wing extremism in this country has targeted democratically ran cities. And quite frankly, they've been very intentional about going after democratically ran cities that are led by people of color. And their whole motivation is to create disruption and chaos, because that's what that particular party has been about. Right? This is the same political party that did not want to accept that President Obama was actually an American. It's the same Republican right-wing extremism that stormed the Capitol. It's the same right-wing extremism that refuses to accept the results of the Civil War. It's raggedy. It's disrespectful. It's mean-spirited. It's an unclean spirit, quite frankly. And so I got you. I just want to,
Okay, so you heard that, guys. Where do I even begin? Where do I even begin? He said that the Republicans didn't accept that Barack Obama was a citizen of this country. Newsflash, guys. The person that actually started the whole birther thing, that was one Hillary Clinton, a Democrat. She actually started that whole thing about Barack Obama because I believe she was actually trying to run against him back in 2008. She started that, Brandon Johnson. Then he brings up January 6th, man. We've seen the tapes. I mean, a bunch of people walking around with cell phones and flagpoles. How in the world are you actually going to overthrow the government? We saw the new tapes, man. I mean, Kevin McCarthy, why didn't you actually release those tapes? Because it's debunking everything that the left is actually saying about that. Then Brandon Johnson goes on. He says that he talks about the Civil War. I mean, I want to play this clip back real quick because I don't want to mess this one up right here. I mean, he said a bunch of nonsense. Let me just go right here. Let's see if they'll play.
Obama was actually an American. It's the same Republican right-wing extremism that stormed the Capitol. It's the same right-wing extremism that refuses to accept the results of the Civil War.
The results of the Civil War is that your beloved Democrats, they lost. The Democrats lost the Civil War. Abraham Lincoln, a Republican, the Republicans won the Civil War. And then after the Civil War, and after Lincoln was assassinated, a Democrat by the name of Andrew Johnson, one of the worst presidents in this country's history, actually stopped Reconstruction. All of that actually led to the rise of the Klan, the rise of Jim Crow, segregation. All that was Democrats. So Brandon Johnson, man, gets his facts all wrong. This man is in a whole bunch of trouble out there in Chicago. But I'm not sure, man, if the people in Chicago are actually going to vote differently. I'm not really sure, man. These people are probably institutionalized at this point. But this man is out of his mind. He's blaming the right. The right runs nothing in Chicago. Nothing. And the people know that. That's why your approval rating is at 28%. I want to know how he's even getting 28%. I mean, when it comes to Chicago, Brandon Johnson is Joe Biden bad. Joe Biden's approval rating is actually a little bit higher than that, but still, the people in Chicago, man, they are upset with Brandon Johnson. His administration has been an unmitigated disaster. That's just my thoughts on this. What do you guys think of this? Black and White Network fans, let us know what you think about all this in the comments. Make sure you subscribe to the channel. And we'll catch you next time.